Hey, it's Aaron Kushler and welcome to another video from EBSC. In today's video, we're going to be looking at dead ball training for squatting. So your gym probably has dead balls sitting around, but you've often wondered what you can do with them other than try to pick them up and maybe carry them around. You can do a lot of different things with dead balls, and in these videos we're going to show you some of the exercises that you can do. So today's video we're going to look at how you can use dead ball training to actually improve your squatting mechanics. So if we take a look at the exercises that we're going to go through today, the dead ball squat is a very challenging movement. It's different to a barbell. It loads us in a completely different manner. One of the things that we're going to have to get right from the start is a dead ball lapping technique. This is basically the foundation for a lot of different dead ball training exercises. If we get this right, pretty much it makes everything else a lot easier. It's a solid starting position to avoid excessive fatigue. So if you're doing something like a dead ball carry, where you've got the dead ball sitting out in front, if you have to rest rather than letting it drop onto the ground, you can go back to this starting position, rest, and then stand up and continue going. So you don't have to keep picking the thing up, from the ground every single time. So let's take a look at the technique for dead ball lapping.
So here we are with the dead ball lapping. So start with the dead ball in between your feet, arms are straight, you're going to drop your hips, stand it up together like you would a deadlift, and then sit it on top of your knees. So with the knees, you want to be able to create a shelf by bringing them together for the ball to sit on. Then you can wrap your arms around and stand the ball up if you want to. So some common faults we see are having the ball too far in front. You won't be able to pick it up like this. It's too far out of your center of mass. So make sure you bring it in between your ankles. The second one is having the arms bent to start with. Your back's going to have to round over and it's very unlikely that you'll get the ball up. So keep the arms nice and straight when you pick this up. Otherwise, it's not going to come up very easily. So keeping the arms straight will be much easier to get it up to your knees.
So number two, we're going to be looking at Zurcher squats. So we've learnt how to control the dead ball and get it up onto our lap. Now we're going to actually use the dead ball to do some squats. The first one that we're going to look at is a Zurcher squat. Basically what we're going to be doing is holding that ball in our arms in front of us and performing squats as normal. Now, with Zurcher squats, you're going to need a wider stance. It does build a very strong back. You will find doing Zurcher squats with the dead ball a lot more challenging than your standard back squat. It's very akin to a front squat with a barbell. So if your front squat's lacking because you keep dropping the bar forward, put these into your program and I guarantee you're going to start building up a lot stronger muscles in the back, which is going to translate into a bigger front squat. So you won't be dropping cleans. It's going to make everything that you're doing a lot easier. Heavily trains the core. Because of the position of the dead ball, it's a lot of core engagement is required to stay upright. If your core is not engaged and it's not tight, you're just going to drop it straight forward. And it's a basis for carries. So if we're doing a carrying movement like a bear hug carry where we've got our arms around the ball and we're walking for a distance, this is basically the basis of this. If you can't manage a long carry or you're scared that you're going to drop it and not be able to get it back, you can even just start with Zurcher squats with the dead ball. So you can do a couple of reps, you can let it drop, you don't have to really move it very far, you can do it in place. Let's get into the technique of how to do Zurcher squats.
So doing the Zurcher squats, we're going to start out by lapping the ball as we did before. Pull it in nice and tight against the chest with the arms, so engaging your upper back. Then you're going to spread your feet and just squat as normal. So with this style of squatting, it's going to allow you to sit further back on the heels. So you're going to feel this more in your glutes. Some common faults that we see all the time are people not getting the ball high enough. So if you don't get it high enough, it's going to cause you to round over and round forward, and it's likely going to drop out from underneath you. So just to be sure, make sure the ball's quite high on the chest, squeeze it in tight with the arms, and it'll allow you to breathe a little bit easier throughout the squat movement.
And finally, number three, we've got shoulder squats. Now, this is probably the hardest one of all. It requires a great deal of technique as well as mobility to be able to do these. So I've put this last because it builds upon the previous two movements. If we can get the dead ball lapping technique right and we can do the Zurcher squats, there's a good chance we'll be able to do shoulder squats. We can't sort of go straight into shoulder squats if we don't have the lapping technique, and I'll show you in a minute as to why. It trains core stability. Once we've got the dead ball up on top of our shoulder, there's a chance it's going to try and pull us either way, forward, back, to the side. So our core's got to work really hard to stop that movement. Good mobility is required for this movement due to the positioning on your shoulder. So if you have trouble squatting, you tend to lean over quite a bit, you will find these pretty challenging. The more upright you can squat, the easier it's going to be for you. But then again, we do want it to be a challenging movement. Give them a try. Start with a lighter ball first, just to assess how you go with this. And then obviously, as with anything, we build up in weight over time. It's a heavy emphasis on hip stability. So you might be able to squat 100 kilos on the bar for X amount of reps. But if you change that up and you pick up, say, a 55, 65 kilo dead ball, and you try to do the same amount of reps, holding it on your shoulder, you're gonna notice a big, big difference. It's a lot harder than just using a barbell. So let's get into the technique of how to do shoulder squats with the dead ball.
So here we are with the shoulder squat. So first off, we're going to lap the ball. Then from here, we're going to pull it in really tight to our chest and get our chin over the ball. Drive your hips through really explosively and bring it up to the shoulder. From there, stabilize it, spread your feet, and you'll do a squat as normal. So it's going to be really challenging to hold on to the ball. Your core's going to have to work overtime. So that's one way how we can change the ball from shoulder to shoulder. And here is the second way, bringing it down to the lap, re-cleaning it back up to the shoulder. Some common faults that we see with this is not lifting fast enough. So we're not using the hips, we're rather just shooting them up and then trying to stand it up like a deadlift. It's not going to work. We need the hips to come through very fast. So tighten the back, explode the hips through, and it will come up to the shoulder.
Okay, so now that we've looked at some of the techniques on how to do these movements, let's look at how to actually prescribe these things into your training session to get the most out of them. Starting with the dead ball lapping. Now the prescription with this, we can do this on any day. This is more of a technique based on your competency. So we're not really trying very hard, straining or anything, so it's not going to tax us too much. It's more about getting in the repetitions to actually practice this movement so it becomes easier for us to do. As a starting rule, any of the days, we're going to go 4 to 5 sets of 6 to 8 reps. So try to challenge yourself and pick up and lap the heaviest dead ball you can. Obviously work up, starting with a lighter one first, working up to a heavier one as you progress. But mainly with this thing, we're trying to build a skill. So practice that movement so it becomes flawless, because that's going to be the foundation for everything else that we do. Moving on to the Zurcher squat. Now the Zurcher squat, obviously, because it is a squat, we're going to couple that with our other lower body days. So any days where you're doing any squatting or deadlifting, this is the day where you want to chuck this in. We're going to be going for about 3 to 4 sets and much higher reps, 10 to 12. This will be tough. If you have a heavy dead ball and you're doing 10 to 12 reps, this is going to be challenging on your breathing as well as the endurance in your legs. So we're really trying to look to build up some strength here and our work capacity. So pushing the barrier with endurance, hence why the reps are going to be much higher. Finally, we're going to look at the shouldering squat. So really we want to alternate these between Zurcher squats and shouldering squats. If you're pretty confident with them, you can do both. Again, they're going to be on lower body days, so after we've trained any squats. Particularly overhead squats, if you've been doing them, these are a great one to add in to really challenge the core stability a little bit more. So again, lower body days, 3 to 4 sets, and we're going to go 4 to 6 reps per side. So we're all going to have one shoulder that's more favored than the other, but we want to be able to do that on both shoulders. So don't just favor one side, do all your reps and then leave the other side, untouched. So we want to do a few reps here, then you have 2 choices. You can either move it across the side or you can bring it down, put it on your lap and then pick it back up on the other side, which is completely up to you, but we do want to go both sides with this. So that's how I would set these out to actually put into your program to get the most benefit from them. Guys, if you like this video and you found some of these tips really helpful or useful, make sure you click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any suggestions on movements that you'd like to see, leave some of them in the comments down below. Until then, I'll see you next time.